let's start with James Wilson's red card, which Michael Stewart was determined to tell everybody was a disgraceful decision. It shouldn't have been a booking. Des?
I would refer to Michael Stewart's qualification as a referee to make that statement.
He's a qualified pundit, isn't he?
Aye, what qualifications do you need to be a pundit?
You don't.
Exactly.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be on here.
Listen, it's baffling. I have got no issue with that. James Wilson never went with any malice or intent. However, you can't challenge like that. He had a straight leg, right? So straight away, that's coming. He's come in at speed. He's come in high. He's come in over the ball. He's made contact with Stevenson on the shin. I'm sorry, Michael Stewart, but in 2025, that's a red card every day of the week. I really don't think there's any negotiation there.
It was a strange one. I must admit, I'm going to put my hand up here and say that there was one angle that I wasn't sure that he'd even made contact. But you see, and that was almost like a face-on angle. There was then an alternative angle, probably more from the side, and I think it showed you the view that Nick Walsh had of it, and he catches him quite high up in the shin. So for me, it is the right decision. And I don't think Nick Walsh was having a very good game up until that point. He'd called a foul on Beringme after he'd won 2 tackles in quick succession in the middle of the pitch to set Hearts off on a break. Should never have been called back. So I don't think he was having a great game. And maybe that jaundiced my opinion when he got the red card out for James Wilson. On review though, and seeing it on that angle, I think it was ultimately the right decision. And with you, Des, I don't think there's any malicious intent in there, but he's caught him high up. Scott, what was your view?
Well, I think you only have to look at what the Hearts manager Neil Critchley said after it. He said that meant that James Wilson's probably going to learn from it. You know what I mean? He certainly didn't come out and attack the referee. I mean, I think even with the letter of law, he hadn't acknowledged a red card could have been given. You know what I mean? For me, it was just too high. If he'd been a bit lower, then maybe it's not a red card, but I just thought it was too high, and I thought it was a red card, and I was baffled by Michael Stewart's comments, but it's not the first time.
He kind of digs himself into a position, doesn't he? And then he's not quick enough to adjust in terms of... Once he says something, he feels he needs to keep arguing it all the way out, even when you're looking at the pictures and going, oh, hold on, that is halfway up his shin.
Even if you look at the pundits yesterday at half-time, they weren't having it either. But Michael Stewart, obviously, in the second half, tried to double down again. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think he's in the minority in this one.
There we are. We've got a comment here from Craigie. Stonewall red card, dangerous play. I think we're agreed. Marzuno, it wasn't vicious, but it was dangerous. Yep. I think that just about sums that one up. Now, this one is going to be interesting. Kofi Balmer's red card at Rugby Park on Saturday. Des, talk me through it. That's a good picture. It's a very good picture.
Right, I'm going to strip it back here. Right, football's a physical sport. It's a contact sport. Kofi Balmer, in my opinion, and people may disagree, but in my opinion, Kofi Balmer has done the only thing that he could there. He's went for a challenge to clear the ball. It was in the defending third for Motherwell. He's won the ball. He's kicked through. His leg's got to go somewhere. And I'm sorry, but do you know what, guys? You're going to have a wee bruise now and then. It is a physical sport. I don't think for a minute it was serious foul play. And I have no idea Andrew Dallas got involved to bring Matthew McDermott across to issue a red card. I think that was absolutely shocking.
Well, why are they doing it? I mean, look, 2 things. First of all, you mentioned with the James Wilson one, it was a straight leg. I think Kofi Balmer is guilty of overextending his leg a little bit. I know what you mean. Where's it supposed to go? But he did straighten it out. But I wasn't delighted with that. But I wonder... do you know what I actually think? I wonder if this was a reaction to the Merseyside derby and the James Tarkowski, that our guys were on red alert for trying to see something similar and maybe seeing what wasn't there with that, because to compare the two of them is quite ludicrous.
Yeah, I don't think, and I know we also spoke about it during the week, about the Tarkowski one. The Tarkowski one was premeditated for me.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He had intent. I don't think for a minute Kofi Balmer's went there with intent. I think Kofi Balmer's intent was to clear the ball, to let Motherwell set back up, and his leg has just happened to go through. You can't pull out of a tackle, or you can't pull out of striking the ball when it's going there. It's unfortunate that it's made contact with the Kilmarnock player, but these things happen sometimes. Not every physical contact is a foul. Not every physical contact is a red or yellow card. These are things that, as I said to you, it happens in the game, isn't it? It's an occupational risk.
So why are VAR jumping into that then? Because I'm in agreement, right? I'm in agreement. I think it's much to do about nothing. I do wonder if he's straightened his leg more than he had to. But I'm with you. I don't think it's a red card. I just don't understand why VAR feels the need to jump into the middle of that and pull the referee over the screen. I
don't think he should have. And Matthew had a pretty decent view on it. And we'll come on to Matthew later on. But to me,
that's Matthew McDermott.
Yes, to me that is Andrew Dallas re-refereeing the game. It was a needless intervention.
I've spoken to somebody very close to the player, and the player is adamant that he actually moves his foot and catches him with the side of his foot rather than the studs. He actually moved to try and limit the impact. But
so he didn't make contact. In an attempt to not make contact.
Not make contact yet. He's caught the side of the boot rather than with the studs. He said he's tried to pull it. He's tried to pull. You know what I mean? When he's going through, and there was no malice in it. He's just, but where am I meant to put my foot? So
yeah, I can agree with that.
I mean, the fact is, see if he left his studs in or genuinely went to help the player, then fair enough. But the player is adamant that's not the case.
Yeah, and Motherwell have appealed that one.
Yes.
Do you expect him to win it, Des?
I don't know. That's a 50-50. It's a 50-50.
Well, why would that be? Because you're sitting here, right? You're our guy.
In my opinion.
You're saying the VAR should never have got involved. It was never a red card. So if that's how you see it in your own head.
But I'm not the SFA disciplinary committee. I'm not the one that makes the decision on it.
But are you suggesting that they might make decisions which they know to be wrong just in order to support their referees?
I could never confirm or deny.
I'll take that as a yes.
I think that it should be overturned. Personally, I don't think that's a red card offence. However, the SFA will try everything in their powers to support the referees.
Right. It's not a very healthy state of affairs, is it?
It never has been.
Yeah.
What I would say, Keith, is that if a decision is 50-50, I would expect the SFA to go with the referee. Always go with the referee.
Mm-hmm. And do you think this is a 50-50?
I don't think it's a 50-50 at all. I don't think it's a red card. I think it's an absolute disgrace. And it's another big decision.
Matthew gave nothing for it at the time. Nothing for it.
He was quite right.
So there we go then. So in our court of justice here, Kofi Balmer has been cleared and that red card will be rescinded on appeal. Del Boy's asking, does VAR show the ref the whole motion or just a still? It's the whole motion, isn't it, Des?
Yeah, it's the full motion. Stills can show anything you want, but yeah, it'll be the full lineage of play.
We've got another comment here. Get the refs to watch Roy Aitken, Souness, Roy Keane, etc. Then go and watch VAR again. Well, that might be an education. Right, now, same game, Des. Dominic Thompson and Danny Armstrong. Your view?
It's a comedy of errors, wasn't it? An absolute comedy of errors. I think Matthew, he tried to slow down. He tried to make take his time, but Dom Thompson, let's be fair, right? Dom Thompson wanted to delay play, slow play up, get on top of the Kilmarnock player, maybe leave a wee bit on him, but there's nothing there, absolutely nothing there at all, and that's where Andrew Dallas, as much as I've given him issue for the previous one getting involved when he should have done, he's dug Matthew out a hole there. Didn't dig him out the hole that he'd done him for the first time, but he's dug him out a hole there. And I just don't know what Matthew was seeing there. There was nothing in it. There was no violent conduct. There was no serious foul play. It was just two players. See if he'd got the pair of them up and just said, had
Go on
a
with it.
good word in their ear, that would have been brushed over in 10 seconds. I think Matthews had a bit of a nuke there, to be fair.
Do you know what, Des? I'm going to disagree.
Are you?
I think what's happened there is I think Danny Armstrong has got a bit of Dom Thompson's shirt. I think he's pulling him as the two of them are going to ground. And I think that Dom Thompson reacts to that angrily. And it's almost like a pile driver movement, straight for WWE. I think he's a bang out order. And again, I'm looking at going, I don't know why VAR gets involved. The referee's seen it. He knows what he's seen. And by the way, if I'm Dom Thompson and I think I've been picked on unfairly on that occasion, I'm not going up the tunnel. Because I'm going to sit and just say, well, VAR will watch that. If you're Dom Thompson, you think you've done nothing wrong, you don't go up the tunnel. You wait for VAR to clear you. That's my view. Scott?
I think in the heat of the moment, I think he's lost the rag.
That's what I think.
And no, I don't mean that. And just with everything that's happened, and that's if he's gone up the tunnel, and he's probably the best place for him because, by all accounts, some of the Kilmarnock staff or subs were filming at him as well when he was walking out, and there might have been a bit of a face off there. So he was probably better himself get away from the incident before anything else kicked off. For me, I didn't think it was a red card.
No,
I thought the player himself was stupid, as in moving his body towards him
and his head.
But Danny Armstrong's done him as well. Danny Armstrong's done him no favours.
So
that's correct.
Is that not the exact situation? You say both of you are at it. Don't be stupid.
Yep.
Let's get up. Get on with the game. If a yellow card each, I could probably take that.
Yeah.
But it's not enough and sufficient enough for a red card.
No.
You might have won me over, Des. You might have won me over. Right, there was a couple of handballs in the games involving Celtic and Rangers. Rio Hatate, handball at Perth, could have been a potential penalty. James Tavernier, handball at Ibrox, could have been a potential penalty for Hibs. Now, the reason I bring these up, Des, is that when we first introduced VAR, these things were getting handed out like sweeties every week. Penalty kick for even if the ball looked like hitting somebody in the arm. Has there been a change? Is this a Willie Columnism?
A Willie Columnism? Is that a new one for the dictionary?
Yeah.
I think there has been a leniency on handballs this year. Certainly last year was at the start.
It was mental.
It was ridiculous. I always say handball should be judged on intent and what's the opportunity for the attacking team. I'm really happy that it wasn't. I said it last week as well at the Celtic Hearts game. Can't remember the boy's name. Was it Milne who did the handball in the Celtic penalty that wasn't awarded? No, I'm quite happy. Hatate was off balance. He was falling backwards. No. And Tavernier as well. No, there was no what would you say, incremental influence on the game.
But this is good news then, isn't it?
It is good news.
If we're being a little bit more kind of lenient with this sort of stuff, because I think that was infuriating people. It was infuriating people when VAR first came in, and it was just penalties getting handed out left, right, and centre. So if this is a Willie Collum change, if he's implemented this and driving it, I'm all for that. Scott, what about yourself?
I think it's a positive because certainly last season it was like every time the ball went in the box and it was anywhere near the hand, it seemed to be a penalty. So it was just madness. It was chaos. I mean, players are.
What was the one at Celtic Park where the ball actually stoats up and comes up and hits? Was a Celtic player in the hand and the Celtic get a penalty against him for it? It was absolutely crazy.
Aye.
Huh?
Was it? I mean, behind or something? Was it Welsh or something? No, I can't.
Mental.
Aye. No, I think it's a good thing. I think it's the SFA deserve a bit of credit this time around that they've improved that handball rule, because otherwise it's just utter madness every other week.
Yeah. Right, okay, so that's those two. Now, two further decisions from these matches. Where Celtic denied a penalty late on, I mean, it was right at the death when Alistair Johnson he kind of was bundled to the ground inside the 6-yard box. I think it was a corner kick. Des, what was your view?
Well, between the guys that I'm obviously still talking with, it sort of split decision. Personally, I don't think it was a penalty. I think when you see it, Alistair Johnson, he's put both his arms around the St Johnstone players first.
He's got an arm around as if it's giving him a bit of leverage.
Yeah. So he's created the initial contact, and then again, as you look at stills and you see it slowed down, it's almost like as if a St Johnstone player's cradling him at one point, like he's holding a baby. But I think Alistair Johnson's initiated that contact, and he's looked for the penalty there. He's made himself in that position. But no, I'm not giving a penalty for that.
I wasn't sure, Scott. Did you get a chance to see it?
I saw it, yeah. I didn't think it was a penalty. I just thought that he was obviously trying to attempt an overhead kick. He was blocked off by the defenders, and I didn't see too much in it, I have to say.
Again, see, I think there's two angles. There's one angle where you think it's Alistair Johnson that's causing it. There's another angle from behind the goal where it looks very much as if the St Johnstone players almost scooped him up off the ground. And I think if you see that and you look at that, if you're VAR, I think you've got a decision to make.
Is it clear and obvious?
Des?
Yeah. Well, it's not clear. But I'm in agreement with you here, Keith. When you see that angle, you think about it, and you go, oh, right. But when you watch it in live motion and live stream, Alistair Johnson is one who initiates the contact. He's grabbed the St Johnstone player. He's held him. The probably St Johnstone player's done him a favour. He could have let him go and he could have fell on his back and hurt himself. He's probably trying to support him. But no, I don't think there's enough in that for a penalty kick.
Okay, and then the last one, Cyril Dessers wanted a penalty late on at Ibrox against Hibs. I assume that he wasn't going to take it if he did get it, but he wanted the award given anyway. He claimed to be manhandled by Jack Iredale. What was your take on that one, Des?
You can't deny that there was contact, but there wasn't enough for that to be sufficiently for a penalty. That was probably his best chance, of the game. But nah, I'm okay with that. I think Don was fine.
So you're allowed to shove in the back then in the penalty?
You're not allowed to shove in the back, but that wasn't a shove. There was contact. There's always going to be contact. There's a difference between contact and a shove. Come on, Keith. You've been about this game long enough. Come on. Are you telling me that's a shove?
No, Burnsy.
Des, you've been shoved into that answer.
Oh no, I've not been Burnsy. I've not been shoved into that answer. Keith trying to nudge me into an answer that I'm not willing to give. So no, the referee got it correct. It was not a penalty.